The big question that a lot of people have when it comes to Ohio State is, are they legit? Yes, I'm going to get this out of the way. I have not ranked Ohio State in the JSI poll in the top 5 or in the top 7 because they haven't looked great against low-tier talent. A 23 victory over Indiana is not going to be impressive enough to put you up high. A 35-7 victory over a Youngstown State is not going to be enough to give you a boost of confidence. And I had them outside the top 10 before they dropped 66 points on Western Kentucky. It's Western Kentucky, people. There's a reason why you pay $1 million+ for them to tune you up before you have a game that everyone is paying attention to. But this is then again, Ohio State being Ohio State. Look back at the quarterback history for years, well before Ryan Day got there, even before Urban Meyer got there. It's been a slow burn indoctrinating the next quarterback. Justin Fields was not elite the second he arrived on campus. It took him time to eventually lead his team to a national championship. Dwayne Haskins had his fair share of struggles in the first game before he hit his stride. CJ Stroud looked abysmal against Minnesota in his first game, and then he loses to Oregon in his second game. Still throws for over 350 yards, but he loses. This is just what happens. This is just the way Ohio State is. But the differences with this year compared to every other year is you still have more questions around Kyle McCord, the starting quarterback, than really ever you have before. Like, okay, he looked good against Western Kentucky, but he looked awful against Indiana. Indiana's defense is actually worse than Western Kentucky's in every single format of the word. Western Kentucky and the Hilltoppers have been a much more clear-cut, positive outlook team than the ones in Bloomington. That's just a plain fact. So you have questions going into this game about your starting quarterback. You don't have questions about your receiving core because you have 2 future first-rounders in Emeka Ibuka and Marvin Harrison Jr. You have a future middle-tier player in Julian Fleming. You have a good tight end in Cade Stover. The offensive line isn't great at this time, but it is growing with more chemistry and continuity and game reps. And the defense, again, is still going to be one of the best in the Big Ten. That's what Ohio State is. But if Ohio State does not win on Saturday, once again, we put them on the pedestal of being the most overrated team in college football. And I'm going to stand on this one. Ohio State is overrated, in my opinion, for now. The AP poll would not have Ohio State number 6 in the country if that big O and the scarlet and gray was not a part of their persona. They wouldn't, because there's no reason to. They haven't done anything that justifies them being ranked above Notre Dame. There's no reason they should be ranked above Washington. There's no reason they should be ranked above Penn State. Penn State's 2 wins over West Virginia and Illinois are more impressive than any of the games that I have seen this year from Ohio State. But Ohio State also finds itself in a lose-lose situation every single year. It's national championship or bust. It's you have to beat Michigan. It's every other game on the schedule does not matter if you can't do those 2 things. There are legitimate people out there saying Ryan Day is on the hot seat. I politely disagree. Why should he be? Give me one reason. The man has lost 5 games since being named the head coach. 6, my apologies. 6. And you want to fire him because of he what? Can't beat Michigan? He's already done it. He's done it multiple times. It's not like, oh, he's 0-6 against them. No, he's lost the last 2. And he took it to the college football playoff twice during that span. And a national championship, I also might add in. He went 13-1 his first year, 7-1 his second year, 11-2, 11-2, and he's 3-0. He has 6 losses in 5 years. He is not the problem. The problem is that fans in Columbus treat this team like it's the Dallas Cowboys. You put the cart before the wagon all the time. The horses are sitting back in the stables, and before you can gallop, you already have grandeur expectations that are automatically far too big and out of your reach. So this is a big game for Ohio State, but it's more so a big game for Ryan Day. Do you remember back in the old school days when there was a guy by the name of Bob Stoops, and he was the head coach at Oklahoma, and he would always win in big time matchups, and he got the nickname Big Game Bob because of he may lose to a random ass Nebraska team or a Colorado or an Oklahoma State. But Texas, he's kicking their ass. He absolutely is going ham against a Baylor or whoever else you may play. And they always found ways to win. He lived in the moment. Ryan Day is kind of the opposite of that right now, where he wins against the teams that he's supposed to. He beats up on a Michigan State, on a Wisconsin, on an Arkansas State, on a Northwestern. And then there are the games against Georgia where you lose, and the games against Michigan where you lose, and Oregon, you lose. So this is a big game for Ryan Day just to clear his persona and put himself back in the spotlight of actually being one of the better coaches in college football. What this also does is if you get a win, there's a giant exhale in Columbus, Ohio. It's no longer we got to figure this out, man. What's going wrong with us? No, you just beat a top 10 team. And you just beat a top 10 team on the road in a very hostile environment where this year they look legit. They have great weaponry. They have a good quarterback in Sam Hartman. They have a great ground game. Everything that you have, but you have more. You're better. You are. There's no denying if you were to go pound for pound, talent-wise, who is the more impressive team? Ohio State quarterback, I lean Sam Hartman. Ohio State wide receivers, I lean Ohio State. Ohio State run game, I lean Notre Dame. Defense, I lean Ohio State. You're the better team. Now act like it. And with the win, it kind of mitigates everything. It puts you back in the driver's seat. You get a lot more comfortable about where you stand among contenders in the Big Ten. The race to be the winner of the Big Ten East only comes down to likely November. And it also puts a team like Penn State on notice. And it puts a team like Maryland on notice. And it puts Minnesota and Michigan State. Oh, well, they've had a quarterback problem. They haven't been able to find consistent success, and they haven't been able to really hit their stride at the right time. Well, they just did it against a team that's 4-0, ranks top 10 in almost every single offensive metric, and has been better defensively than we give them credit for underneath Al Golden. They did that, and they did that in an area where they probably shouldn't have. It wasn't just, we were able to win in front of our home crowd. We made the trip down to South Bend, Indiana, and we kicked their ass to oblivion. That's what you get in this game. So it's a big matchup for Ohio State. And it also probably solidifies you got the right quarterback. Because I'm not asking for Kyle McCord to be a world beater. I'm not asking to be CJ Stroud 2.0. I'm not even asking him to be basically what you would say Dwayne Haskins was. I'm asking to be Brock Purdy 2.0. That's what I'm asking for. Get the balls in receivers' hands. Don't have some turnovers. Find your way to open up avenues. Let them work well after the catch. Build a rapport. Don't go ahead and lose third down conversions and find your way into the end zone. Or at least find your way into the red zone to where every drive ends with you ending up putting up points. That's what you're asking for Kyle McCord. And if he does that, okay, problem solved. It was right to go ahead and start him over Devin Brown. And there still is a conversation by a lot of people in Ohio State. Is Devin Brown the right guy? Is he going to be a legitimate threat? And should he be starting? He wears number 33 like slinging Sammy Baugh. Can he hone in that version and actually take the field and bring us back to the glory days? No one's going to worry about Ohio State if they win this game. Now, there will be some people out there that will say this end goal still is to win a national title. And until you beat up on Michigan, Ryan Day, I'm not giving you the benefit of the doubt. But the persona about him not being able to beat opponents that are at his level kind of goes away for a little bit. Now, the next week they play Maryland. So that is a game that I am circling on my calendar because I think Maryland might end up being one of the better tier 2 teams in the Big Ten. But it also sends a message to Maryland, hey, this is the game plan of how you can beat us. I don't think you have the talent to do so. Might as well pack it up before you make the trip over to Buckeye Stadium. That's what you're saying on the same token of breath. But everything that you saw before, a struggle win against Indiana, unable to find continuity with the run game or really have a good third down rapport against Youngstown State. Western Kentucky, that was just the appetizer for what our team can be. That's what you get with Ohio State winning this matchup against Notre Dame. It changes the entire course, the entire opinion, and now it actually justifies their number next to their name. I am not going to put Ohio State in my rankings until I see what they do against Notre Dame. They were number 10 this week because of everyone else in college football kind of crapped the bed and didn't look like they were trying to be a contender. So I gave them the benefit of the doubt. But if you want to be a top 5 team, you want to prove that you actually are a legitimate college football playoff contender, you got to beat Notre Dame. End of discussion.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.